And the fifth step of alchemy is fermentation. And through the fermentation of our lives and giving back to our compost properly, composting what does not serve us, we can allow that to become something else as the earth changes it, form, and putrefies it and allows it to become something new and useful. But in order to create something useful out of unwanted compost waste, first we have to bury it in the earth and allow the process of fermentation to happen. Now, the fermentation can happen in so many different ways. It doesn't have to be in the earth, but it can be, of course. With our compost. This is the best way to learn the alchemy of fermentation, is through composting your vegetables in your backyard and finding a way to continually do this, and not throw away your banana peels, not throw away your odds and ends, but actually give them back to the earth and turn it over and see what kind of richness that you can create from that. Truly, as we take the unwanted parts of life and put them back into the earth to turn over, it becomes the most rich, beautiful, nutrient earth ever, and the most desirable earth to actually plant seeds in, to grow, to create new growth. So that means the alchemy of putrefaction, and fermentation is time. It takes time to process matter in our lives that doesn't serve. It takes time to do our shadow work. It takes time to turn over that new leaf. And that time is a process, and honoring that process of time. And some ways that fermentation process can happen quicker than others, depending on the environment, right? So remembering that there is value in using what we throw away. We don't necessarily want to throw it away. It's just about where we put it and place it in our lives. And where do you place unwanted experiences? Where do you place hurt, pain? Metaphorically speaking, when we're talking about alchemy. How do you process what has happened to you in your life that hurts you? Then how do you process that, and how do you take that time in order to find something new out of it? What are you going to do with it? How long is it going to take you? And during that time, what are you doing with that raw material, that unwanted material, that waste, those parts of yourself that you no longer want? How are you going to turn them over into something new? So that pH process has to happen and turn into something else. The pH balance is a crucial element in the alchemy of fermentation. With proper pH balance, we can create a very nutritious fermentation and a very abundant one. So in order to make wine, we must first crush the grapes, right? And so this crushing of the grapes and turning it over into compost is part of the alchemy process. In a way, it's taking the parts of ourselves that have been crushed, taking our crushed hearts, taking our broken hearts, and what are we doing with them? Because Gonna compost that pain and make it into something else? Or are you gonna carry it around and let it rot in your heart? You know, you have the choice. You can take your perspective from seeing it as this horrible thing that it was and carry that feeling around with you for the rest of your life, or you can change that feeling of a broken heart in some way in your life into how can this serve me in a way that I can grow. So that's the difference of being able to see one perspective from the other. I'm out here on the trail, so I'm having to run into people, and it's interrupting my thought process, which I can't stand. But I'm doing it with grace, and I'm allowing it to happen. So I'm going to walk over here and finish my thought, because I don't like being interrupted and having to respond to people and smile at them. Even though it's nice, I just prefer to be able to finish my sentences without being interrupted by the public. So here I am. All right, so the alchemy, the steps of alchemy matter. Why? Because alchemy is a process. The steps of alchemy matter because why? Alchemy is a process. It's not something that happens overnight. There are steps to it in order for us to achieve each step through the process. Each step through the process deserves to be honored. When we skip the steps, we aren't allowing the process to happen in a way that would naturally occur. Honoring each step in the alchemical process allows us to honor the actual process in life, because these days everything is so instant, and when we can allow time or the process of something to create value instead of this instant world we live in where everything is Instacart, Instagram, Insta everything, right? And we're used to this, being able to achieve things at our fingertips. But in a world that is made of Insta, I think it is important and crucial that we find value in the process of change, of transformation, of alchemy, of growth, because growth takes time. We can't expect this abracadabra, insta everything, in this spiritual world, new age world that some people would, I guess, categorize me into, which I do not actually categorize myself into, but because of what I talk about and how I share my thoughts about alchemy and metaphysical stuff, people might categorize it in that way. Anyway, in this world of spirituality online, a lot of people want to bypass and really focus on how you can just manifest whatever you want and have this instant gratification for everything. And I like to remind people to be very, very careful about listening to people who are offering instant gratification, anything really. Very few times does instant gratification lead to sustainable outcomes. And so I don't dismiss it altogether. I really don't. I do believe that there is a place and a time and an energetic resonation in this world for instant gratification. But when we live in that space where we are always seeking instant everything, even in our own spiritual change and the acceptance of who we are and how we grow as human beings, I think that we are doing ourselves a disservice by not honoring the process. And that's why I really focus on the steps of alchemy, because there is such a process to this transformation, and really breaking down each step, and and really offering a perspective on each step and a guidance through how each step can apply to your own life in different ways. We all have a perspective on it, and this is just mine. This is my own personal perspective about how I use alchemy, and I use the process of alchemy in my life to process emotion, to create art, to manifest in certain ways, and to really process trauma into power and pain into power. And I really do feel that I have taken the lead in my life and turned it into gold in so many ways, and I will continue to do that because I am an alchemist. An alchemist takes the heaviest parts of their lives and turns it into gold and turns it into something valuable. And so what does that take? That takes a perspective shift. That takes the ability to see things in a different way, and shift your perspective from this mindset of victim mentality. I really truly believe it. I know personally that what I've been through in my life, I could consider myself a victim many different times, but I no longer really enjoy identifying with that word at all anymore, and for many different reasons. But for the fact that I don't see myself that way anymore. No matter what has happened to me in my life, I claim joy. Yes, I struggle with certain aspects to getting through traumatic experiences. PTSD is real for me. I struggle with panic attacks sometimes. I have anxiety. I'm not going to lie about that. That's real for me. That's why I do what I do. That's why I'm here sharing this with people, so they can actually help themselves the way that I've found ways to help myself. It's like I do all of this because I am healing. This is my form of healing. And a lot of times people don't recognize that. Fire dancing is a form of healing for me. It's a form of alchemical transformation. I take energy and I burn it up. I burn it up. I burn up energy inside my body that is not serving me through fire dancing. Through this energetic gusto that I have that's very, very real for me when I intentionally burn off anger, when I intentionally burn off, this heavy energy. I use the force of fire dancing to do that, to release that energy. It's what I've been doing half my life, ever since I've discovered the beauty of handling fire and what it means to handle fire and dance with fire, because it's not just this entertainment for me. It is a medicine. It is a transformation. It is a power, taking this pain and fear and anxiety and putting it into something else, putting it into action, into fire, letting it burn up. So that is my channel for the day, and I am glad to be here and just share. I'm in the sunset over at Mad River right now. My goodness, it is just so beautiful. I'm enjoying it. So thank you for being here with me. And I'm going to try and make more videos. I really feel like I have been called to make videos, and making fire dance videos has been something that I've always done, but talking about alchemy is something I want to do more of. And intertwining the two, for me, is very important, because I'm an elemental alchemist. I work with the elements. Everybody has different ways of explaining alchemy, and my perspective is definitely a metaphysical one, of course, but I work directly with the elements. I work directly with the elementals, and how the lessons and the inspiration comes to me is through being in nature, communicating with nature, listening to nature, and being close with nature. And one of those ways is handling fire for me. It's been a gift. It is my gift. It's something that I know that I have intentionally cultivated in my life as a healing tool. And this is why I know I can share it with others as a healing tool. And this is why I draw so many people into my life that need healing, that are attracted to this fire that I hold. I know this. I am very aware of it. And not all of them are aware of that when they come to me. Some of them are, some of them aren't. And some of them come, some of them go and stay, and some of them are in and out of my life, but I know I have remembered all of them. I remember when people come to me for healing and they ask for fire dance lessons, or they ask for, flow arts dance lessons, or in different ways they maybe even ask me to perform at an event because the energy of what I bring is healing and it's transformative. So I know that I've been able to share this healing medicine with my community in so many different ways that people may not even recognize, and that's okay for me, but I do. I recognize it and I know it, and I've defined it for myself because I know exactly what I've created, and I'm very proud of myself for that. And it is something that has been a process. It's been a journey. It's not something that I can do overnight. A lot of people come to me and they want what I've created, instead of recognizing that what I've created has actually come from heavy, deep pain. And they wouldn't want to actually go through that to achieve what I've created, because what I've created comes from an organic experience of no longer wanting to be in the same place of carrying this heavy lead pain that I call it. I call it lead because I feel like I've taken lead and turned it into gold in my life. And every time some pain comes into my life, I recognize it for what it is. I feel it and I allow it to be painful, but then I find ways now how I can transform this pain into my own personal power through the process of changing the pain into a new feeling, and not carrying that resonation, that the feeling that resonates of that thought, what hurt me. Carrying that thought and that feeling together and that resonation together inside of my body, it just continues to perpetuate that, right? So I've decided I'm going to change it, and that's called perspective shifting, right? So, okay, we're going to take this really terrible pain that we've been carrying around that hurts our heart, we can't take it anymore. How are you going to get rid of it, right? It's a lesson that you can't maybe necessarily forget. So what do you do with that? Instead of trying to forget about it, what do? You transform it into something new. You shift it from your pain to your power, because you know it's your power source within you. You know it's your power source within you because you've had the strength to be able to get through it. You've had the strength to be able to find a new way and find a definition beyond what this pain is, right? And being able to get past that, that's your power. And that's why I say put it on your altar and allow yourself to put your pain on your altar. Remind yourself why you are healing. Give yourself a reason, and remember, this pain is actually a source of power for me if I let it be, if I choose it to be. It's a sovereign thing. It's a sovereign thing to be able to say, hey, this pain is going to be my power. Nobody can do that for you, only you. It's a very personal choice, but this is something that you can share with others and lead them to the idea of creating inside themselves instead of carrying around the sadness and this pain and this hurt. Doesn't mean you're not ever going to get hurt again. Quite contrary. Actually, it means that you take those hurts and you take those blows in life, no matter how painful they are. You turn it into something that is valuable. And that's the difference. And that's what alchemy is. Alchemy is taking those painful parts in your life and turning it into something valuable. And that's why we call it lead to gold. Because you take that lead. Lead's heavy, right? so is gold. I'd rather carry gold because gold weighs more. It's valued at more, and gold never loses its true value because gold never erodes. Real gold always holds its value. Doesn't corrode. So when you can change the lead, the rusty lead in your life that isn't serving you anymore, it's holding you back. I know I've had to do this time and time again. Have I struggled with panic attacks in my life? Oh, hell yes. Have I struggled with anxiety on the next level? Oh yeah, you bet. I've even isolated really hard. I've used alcohol. I've done a lot of different things to try to avoid it, but when I decided that avoiding it wasn't working anymore, I had to look at it in the face and take it head on. Actually look at my anxiety in the face. And there are times when it comes up and I have to remember it's not always a straight path of healing. It doesn't always happen like that. Definitely, healing is a circle. You know, sometimes you come to the same point again, around in the circle, and you learn new ways of manifesting, new ways of healing, new ways of letting go, new ways of operating, new ways of behaving. You learn new behaviors if you allow yourself. You know, you can't just say, hey, I'm healed now because you did this thing. It's not work. It doesn't work like that. I mean, it takes effort and it takes time, and it's the process. And when you really honor that process and you don't live in the insta world. But remember that these ceremonies and these rituals and these affirmations that we do, especially the powerful activity of firewalking that I offer, can be a powerful tool to help people get over fear and to really ignite that passion and that purpose and that motivation into somebody. But it's not always instant. Sometimes those lessons will carry with somebody for years, months, weeks, and they learn those lessons from the firewalk, you know, throughout their life. It's an experience that they carry with them that they can refer back to, that they can actually really learn from over and over again. And that's why I like to share it, because it's not an insta thing. Not even the firewalk is. Now, I do believe that walking on fire is a very visceral experience. It is something that you have to be really present for. You have to be very physically ready in your body for. It is not a checkout thing. It's very much a check-in. And this is why it can really ignite that inspiration in people to make changes, to make big changes in their life. And it's about sticking with it. You know, you can ignite those changes in somebody, and you can help them through that process and walk over those coals and show them that they're capable of doing that. But then every day afterwards, it's putting in the work and allowing that process of change to happen, allowing what it is they've affirmed within themselves that they want. What do you want to manifest? Do you want to quit drinking? Do you want to make more money? Do you want to find a secure life? Do you want to let go of pain? Do you want to heal trauma? The aircraft was invasive. I'm in McKinleyville, so here we are. Do you want to make a change in your life in a positive, impactful way? Sometimes it does take a big spark. Sometimes it takes an activity to really ignite us and push us forward and say, yes, I want to do this. And this is why I do firewalking. But remembering that there is a process, and that process is to be honored, and it's not about an insta anything. Because that firewalk is not insta. It is very visceral in the moment and present. And you can transcend your fears in 3 steps by walking over the coals and finding out how you can allow yourself to move past the fear that defines you and letting go of that letting go of your anxiety over what if, getting out of your comfort zone. I know this is the way that I've been healing myself over and over again. So join me. Join me in this next fire walk that I hold. This is a personal invitation. And I'm going to end this video so I can continue my walk. But this is a personal invitation for those of you who have been interested, inspired, intrigued. Now it is never, ever an expectation to walk on the coals if you come to a fire walk. Participating is also witnessing, being a part of it, the circle. As we chant, and we sing, and we play drums, and we build our energy, we build our noom, and we raise our vibration for an hour and a half or two around the fire. And when the coals are ready, then you have the option of joining in that activity, or you can witness those in front of you who do it. Either way, you are participating, and this is important. It does not mean you have to walk on coals when you come to a fire walk. You have the option to, though, and that is the most sovereign choice ever. You have the option. You have the choice. It is always your choice. Never an expectation, ever, ever. And so with that, I invite you to a fire walk. I invite you to walk with us over the coals, to release what doesn't serve anymore, and to allow your fears to rise up into the flames and burn up and create a power inside of you that is unshakable. I invite you to let go of your anxiety. I invite you to let go of your panic attacks. I invite you to let go of your depression, your addiction, your low self-esteem, all of it. Let me know if you'd like to participate with us. We're holding a small circle here in Arcata area, and it's going to be an invite only, under 10 people. So if you are interested, this is your personal invite, and you're welcome to email me at bellavitafiretribe@gmail.com or send me a DM, and I look forward to hearing from you. All right, bless you. Have a beautiful day.